I want to hit some things that are going on in Google's world right now, because they're things that have been going on since we came up with the topic, and I think I want to start there, and then we'll kind of get into the nuts and bolts of it all. The question says, what is the scope for this call? The scope is ask whatever question you want. If it's kind of on point, I'll answer it. If it's not, we'll come back to it at a later point, and I'll make sure I
But
try
the general topic is SEO hacks, which you saw when you signed up for the
Yeah, I mean, I mean, digital marketing is a big footprint, but I mean, we try to focus on, so we're gonna be talking about hacks for SEO, and technically it's called technical SEO, but I don't want to call anything technical because it makes everybody stick their fingers in their ears. So I'm just gonna call it hacks, okay? I want to call everybody's attention, and where I want to start is here. Google is in the process of rolling out its update for March of 2024. It has been egregiously bad. They are on a mission to alleviate about 40% of all the content that's sitting out on the internet right now. And the reason for it is because they believe that content was written with AI. And we've talked about AI. We're going to continue to talk about AI, and I may bring up AI every class you take from here on out. But when I get an update that basically says we're going to try to take out 40% of all the pages on the internet because we think they're low quality, I think that I have a responsibility to let you guys know that that's actually going on. So I want to speak from a very high level. At some point, we'll do a content class, but that's not what this is. But I want to talk from a very high level because, again, I have been telling you, for anybody that has heard the sound of my voice for the last year and a half, do not use AI to write pages on your website. You need to have original thought, original content, and in doing so, that was the recipe to get around this problem. Well, the problem's now knocking at the door, and everybody that said, "Oh, it's no big deal," they are looking to downsize their index by 40%. That number is astronomical when we really think about it, and it's designed to go after marketers that used a lot of tactics that game their system, meaning Google's. This question says, what's AI? AI, artificial intelligence, chat GPT, anything that writes a piece of content for you. That's why I want you to make sure not to get involved with this, and try to stay as organic and writing stuff yourself as you possibly can, because you cannot be in a position where 40% of your website is about there, or 40% of Google's index is about to be just basically erased off the planet. This is not an SEM versus SEO class. I don't want to get involved with that right now. If we have time towards the end, I'll double back towards that. That's a completely different subject than what I want to talk on tonight. But what I want to do is I'm trying to give everybody the basic fundamental things that you need to have so that you can compete in this world, and understand what you should be doing, what you should not be doing. And if you're paying somebody to do it, making sure that they are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. So there's like a multitude of things going on here that we're going to talk about. So I've long said that there's multiple different ways to do SEO. And we're going to talk about what is on-site SEO. We're going to talk about the technical nature of it. And since this advent of AI, and since Google has gotten aggressive last September with their what they call helpful content update, basically, if you're not being helpful, they're not ranking your website. That's what it all comes down to. What I will say, and quite proudly, is that the sites that I manage have not really fallen prey to this, because we've kind of come up with systems that make sure that we're helpful in all we do. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of what those are. Some of those are a little bit more complex, I think. But I wanted to I kind of want to jump into this. So the first thing that I want to say about Google, because I know we have people from all different backgrounds in this, is Google is built on a set of signals. And what those signals are identifiers to Google about what a page is about or what a website is about. And if I sit down and I start to look at a website, we've done this exercise in this class, and I'm not saying we're not going to do it tonight, but I'll look at a website and I guarantee you we know nothing about what it's about because somebody's decided that they're going to be, I'm going to use the word, it's a little bit of an old world word, but avant-garde in how that they approach this. Google is literal. Google is specific. What I tell Google is what I want Google to know about me. And that's something that I think small business owners struggle with because you want to kind of tell people who you are in your way. You call things by the way you call them. And at the end of the day, Google may or may not actually understand that language. And because they don't understand the language, your website is not on the first page. And I say the first page, but really because it's now an endless scroll within the top probably 5 or 6, you're pretty much invisible. The other thing I'm going to tell you is I am constantly seeing websites that change, and when they change, they break the signals. And you can have a really good ranking website that basically falls off the side of the earth because the signals are broken. So I want to go through what some of those signals are and how to create those items. If you do these things right and you're not on a highly competitive term, the chances are you will have some manner of success. And the reason why is because if you do them right and there's not a high level of competition, the chances are is that the people that you're competing with also don't know how to do this. So what I usually find with my small business owners is if I load the box and tell them what to do and they actually do it, a broke clock is right 2 times a day. And that's kind of where we're going here. Okay. I'm going to give you what those items are that are going to be able to help you. And if you can execute them properly, and we'll talk about how to execute them, you're going to end up being way far ahead of everything. So the first thing we are going to talk about, and I need a Chrome browser to do this, is keywords. And the reason I'm talking about keywords is because keywords are a component of the signals. And without understanding what your keywords are, you will never understand what Google will never understand what you're trying to tell them. Now, there was a period of time, probably within the last few years. I'm trying to find my Chrome window and I do not see it. Why do I not see it? Let me try again. Let me try it again. Let's see if it comes up this time. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I have my Chrome window open now, and you all should be able to see that with no problem.
We can see it. Well,
okay,
it says you're signing in. We see
no,
Grammarly.
that's just Grammarly. So let's go to Google. Make sure it's all working like it's supposed to. Because sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so, and I need to shut off a plugin. So the first thing we need to do is we need to learn how to find keywords for things that we're looking to do. Okay, and we need to talk about our business and what we're doing with that business, and we need to understand what that all looks like. Yes, we will have the video available at a later time, so I should have it up. Hopefully, I always say hopefully with this way by this weekend. So. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go look at what words are and what words mean. Okay, so Google goes through a series and they tell people how many searches are performed for a certain word. Okay. So if I have an accountant, let's say, I'm going to say CPA near me. I don't know if I have an accountant in the room or not. What you will see is that there's 135,000 searches for that term a month. The value, what it would cost to buy that word is $4.75. And every time you buy it, you can see a purchased one here in H&R Block. It would be $4.75. So you'll rack up a bill really, really quickly if you go down the road to try to buy search terms, which that's sort of this SEM, SEO thing. I have never, I have AdWords accounts running. I've never been a proponent of buying traffic. So the very first thing, so if I know I'm CPA, I know that CPA near me is one of the major terms. Any word near me is the right way to do it. So the name of your, the type of business you have near me helps find where your business is located, because I think the assumption and way we're moving is that all searches are somewhat more localized than they ever were before. So, local SEO is seeming to become more of the mainstream than regular, or, just bigger national SEO. So just that's near me does that. So the person said, how did he get the price? So this is what I want you to do. I'm going to put a little keywords everywhere is a plugin that you can add to Google Chrome. Okay, so if I go keywords everywhere, and I'm going to do it here, it's a little plugin that you can add. And it says install for Chrome, install for Edge, install for Firefox. And I have it plugged into my browser because not only does it give me the value of the keywords, it also gives me other suggestions of what I should use, what the values are on the suggestions. And I also get a whole list of related keywords down the right-hand side of my page here. So you see, I put in keywords everywhere as my search. It gives me related keywords. Why this is important to you for this is because we need to understand what our business does. The name of your business is not necessarily a keyword. Now, if you're cpap.com and that's the name of your business, cpap.com, then that is actually a keyword. So as we talk through what is a keyword and what isn't, the long and the short of it is it generally is not usually your business name. Okay, because your business name is usually a little bit more close to what you are. So let's go back to CPA near me. Let me see if I can get that box to come up. Sometimes it comes up and sometimes it doesn't. And that the reason it doesn't come up sometimes is because the browser, I've got too much junk going on in my browser for it to actually show up. But you can see I've got CPA near me, CPA for taxes, CPA for small business, best CPA near me for taxes. It gives me a lot of variance and it gives me the value. What I'm going to tell you is the higher the value that we have, the harder that keyword is to rank on because there's more competition on it. Those are usually probably the ones that you want to actually focus on if I reverse into it. Okay. So I know CPA near me, best CPA in Houston. I would never use free CPA because free CPA implies that it's probably not people that you want to do business with. It says, is this free or paid? The keywords everywhere, it can be used free, but to get the level of detail, it's a penny a keyword. So we usually put in $100 a year and we go through we go through it, and it takes us almost a year to go through 1 million credits. So I as I say, it's really pennies on the dollar, honestly. So it's not an expensive tool, and you need to have this because anybody that's serious about their business or how their business should rank or needs to understand what they need to do, it all starts with the key word or the key phrase. Okay. So can everybody tell me in the room of keyword for their business? And I welcome you to go ahead and put them in the chat. I want to see when I say keyword, what you feel are the keywords for your business. And I'll give you a minute to put that in the chat. You don't have to look it up. I just want to go with what your guts are. Okay. And make sure that we're kind of understanding what I'm saying. Okay, let's see.
This is exciting. It gives us a chance to know the kind of businesses are represented in the room.
Well, yeah, and I've seen a couple go by that I'm kind of.
Well, it's also good to, learn about how to use keywords. So that's where we're headed,
Well,
right?
that's it, because this is kind of where all of this starts. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so I'm going to scroll back up on the top and I'm going to kind of come down this. All right, so we've got Greek store, meditation, glowing skin. That one, as it went by, it caught my eye because glowing skin makes me think that the Martians are coming. So I'm not really sure. So we're going to put that in because I want to see what that looks like. Okay, so when I put in glowing skin, gets
Healthy and
45.
hydrated.
Huh?
It says glowing skin is typically healthy and hydrated.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, what I want to do is I want to look for what it is. It's got 45,000 searches a month, but the cost per click on it is 20 cents. So that's not a super duper big high end term if I wanted to look at that. So what I want to kind of understand on that term and what I want to find out is, what do you do? The glowing skin person, what do you do? While they're thinking about to answer that question, I'm going to go down a few others. I've got one that says vegetarian, one that says brunch. Donna, I know what you do. It's that I got it. So I've got one that says vegetarian, one that says brunch, one that says salsa. Where you're going is almost too broad. Okay, so the reason, this is kind of why we're doing this exercise, so we can do this. All right. So the person that says coffee, I'm going to assume they're multicultural, hyperpigmentation, and acne and aging. Okay, see, there we go. Okay, so that's a great situation that we just did. So let's kind of come back to these things. All right, first of all, brunch. If I just say brunch, that is so broad without any type of a modifier. That's one of those ones that really kind of need to have something added to. Am I spelling brunch right? BRUNCH. Yeah, I forgot the N. Okay. So if I put in brunch, I may get 3 restaurants on a local search. And then I get down here, I get brunch near me, brunch menu, brunch recipes, brunch Houston, and best brunch in Houston. Okay. So I'm going to throw out to you that box of related keywords is probably the more salient on this, because we want the keywords that have some kind of meaning. Just brunch is not a good set of words all by itself. Okay. Salsas, I'm assuming we mean stuff that you put on tortilla chips. SALSAS. That one's confusing. So the question I would have on that is, do we sell salsa or are we a Mexican restaurant? Because Google thinks it's a Mexican restaurant and not somebody that's selling something. All right. So where I want to do is I want to kind of go through these, and I want you to take the words, You say sell salsa. All right. So you're not a restaurant. And what's interesting in this is if you look at the output page, they're assuming I want a salsa Mexican restaurant first and foremost. And then I've got some recipes for Mexican salsa, and then I've got some salsa down here underneath it all. So we need to make sure that we're just a little bit more specific and what we're saying on some of these terms. Okay. Cafe, vague. Salsas, vague. Yes, the words with the better, higher cost per clicks, much better. Okay. Vegetarian, a little bit of vague. It probably needs something in it. Kitchen remodel for me, awesome. I'm the American English pronunciation training. That is so hyper specific. I think that's what people would put in, and I think what they would put in is English pronunciation. This is so hyper specific. It's I think it's going to be hard to come up with ones that are more than. Need to shut this one plugin off.
So what's this tool that you're using?
I'm using keywords everywhere to get this, but I'm trying to get this. I think it's SEO Minion that's causing this right now. That's causing all the other one not to show up right, I think is what it is. So let me refresh this and see if that works.
Do they all know what tool this is? Because I was
Yeah,
busy.
it's a keyword everywhere that we already, I gave it to them and they're all kind of, did somebody ask what it is already again or no? Can you?
I just want to
can't
type it in the chat.
Yeah, I can't type to everyone, so if you wouldn't mind, somehow
Not at
mine's got
all.
stuck. So if you want to just put it in there, it's keywordseverywhere.com.
Okay.
So my computer died. I'm thinking you're referring to our business. Okay. All right. So when I put this in, you'll see that this English pronunciation is a 29-cent pay-per-click. It's got 210 searches. It is so refined that you actually have a business that is so hyper focused that you don't have a lot of competition like some of these other ones do. So you're not like putting in these broad things, you're hyper focusing yourselves. All right, so all right, let me see. I'm just trying to get this one plugin off, and it's not. Maybe it's SERPworks that's causing it. Yep, it's SERPworks that's causing it. Let's see if they come up now. Okay, so what you're looking for is these boxes that say, what did people also search for? Okay, well, this says pronunciation alphabet, English online. This is probably, we're going to find English as a second language, English pronunciation rules. So really, you have one word that we kind of keep coming back and focusing to. So that's going to be a little bit more difficult than it is on these ones that are going to have bigger more swathier things with them. Business can, and I'm gonna just kind of run down them from the top as you guys put them in, because the thing is, without antecedents or without formalizing them, it's gonna make this a little bit harder. I almost want, like I'm saying, Donna's too focused. Some of you need to focus in a little bit more. Okay, so let's come back. I got Greek store. Greek store, I guess we're going to say they're selling Greek food. So I guess I would want to say Greek food store. I don't think we're selling Greek people. So I would be careful on that one. Meditation. And if we're selling meditation services, I would put meditation near me, meditation services. I would put something else, because putting in just meditation, you're not going to get a service. You're going to get stuff that's going to help you with meditation. All right. So the thing is, you want to try to take these keywords and bring them to where you're talking about your service. So some of you have done it well, and some of you are too far out. So meditation needs another word. Glowing skin needs the other pieces that were added.
Right, they're telling you it's mediation, not meditation.
Mediation, not meditation. Well, that's even worse.
Well, it really is mediation that services.
Oh, it is mediation. I see it, but then it needs to have the word services to the side of it. You know why? Because I'm up at the top. I'm not reading the comments, so you guys just pack them in, and then I'll come down to them. Financial wellness. That's another one. That's one unto it's all unto itself. You have to decide what's involved with that, because financial wellness. Are we doing credit repair? What are we doing with the things? Taxes, another one, way too broad. Do you do people's taxes? Are you a tax planner? Are you a tax? The reason I'm doing this, I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I want everybody to understand that we have to give Google the right set of language for them to understand. Landscaping is probably a good one as it's all on its own. But I mean, I would be like landscaping near me. I would start with something like that and then see what your related keywords are. Interactive displays is perfect because it's doing exactly what you want it to do without anything else putting in it. A learning center. Learning centers are interesting because, yeah, a school is a learning center, a college is a learning center, and then we have places like Sylvan Learning Center. So we've got to decide what that looks like. Okay. And what I want you to do is I want to take each and every one of these and run it through. And granted, near me, are we looking for a quarry, or are we granite near me and we're meaning for granite countertops or granite floors or whatever else you might do with granite these days? Um, Financial freedom. That's an interesting one, because financial freedom flows down that I'm going to talk in these terms that are not Google that doesn't understand. So, athletic clothing is a good one. Financial planning is a good one. Hair extension for Black women, that's a good one. Mobile massage, a good one. Bike shop, good one. Courts near me, that's going to probably be with the granite countertops near me. It sounds like you're all the kitchen remodeler guy. Are you all the same person? All right, let's see.
How about
Immigration.
artisan salsa? Is that better than salsa? Artisan salsa?
All right, don't jump down to the bottom yet. Let me get rid of things. Did she
Okay,
come
all
up with
right.
a different one? Yeah, because that's no, artisan salsa is not a good one. It's but hang on a minute. Okay, so we got financial services. This is another one that I found. Angolan ingredients. Okay, Angolan ingredients for what? So we need to kind of look at that one. Countertops near me. Now, countertops near me is probably the best one out of all the ones that you listed, because at the end of the day, it's starting in the right place and it's not calling out material without so it would be granite countertops near me, quartz countertops near me, countertops near me. It wouldn't be just quartz near me, because that could be anything and granite could be anything without the other word involved. Oh, mediation near me. That's the right one. Okay, mobile detailing. Now, see, mobile detailing near me is kind of interesting, because if it was mobile, you don't necessarily need it near you. Okay, so that may be more a mobile detailing service as opposed to a near me. Pressure washing and power washing. That's a good one. Notary. That again, I would throw something like services in front of it, or behind it rather. So notary services. All right, question. Oil and gas. I don't know what that means. Um, Black esthetician is probably because you're looking for certain skin types on that. I have to look that one up off the top. See, some of these I already know the answer to without looking them up. This one I don't know. How to spell esthetician? ESTH. All right, so it's 88 cents. Black esthetician near me is a better term. Black-owned spas in Houston is a odd term. Facials. Are you and that see, this becomes a question. You guys are gonna have to look at this and see what's more applicable for what you're looking for. We've got from a dermatology standpoint, we've got it from a spa standpoint. I know we had said glowing skin. I understand why you're saying glowing skin. I'm just not feeling it because I wonder if how many people walk it up there and say that out of the box. So you have to think about how people, oil and gas consulting, I'm happier with. Coffee on its own, it needs, are you a coffee shop? Are you a coffee master? What is the coffee? You just want a cup of coffee and you're asking the waitress to bring you some. So we've got to be like kind of specific. I don't know if I like Greek paraphernalia because the word paraphernalia kind of goes in a different direction. And probably should be more with Colorado than Greece. I don't know. So I would come up with a better term than that of
Well, he
what you're
said right after that, those two terms that are specific. So,
where.
uh, I think he said, I'm not right at it, but I think he said something like clothing and apparel or apparel and, um, there were two words that went right after it to define what it was.
Kitchen remodel near me is the right one. Okay. So why I want everybody kind of to sit down and make this list because this is the most important list that you can make for your business. All right. And to understand the related keywords. So remember, I told you we're talking about signals. Okay. So Google looks at signals as much as they look at the word itself. They look at signals and other related words that go along with this. So you see these long tail searches, they black owned esthetician near me, esthetician in my area, esthetician for black skin. I have got multiple different variants of esthetician. And if I put that in, and I actually have a tool that I can run this through, that one's pretty pricey, but it'll give me a list of all the related terms that if I was going to put a page up, it would want this because Google's looking at if you're going to say your page is about SEO, then is the word SEO and other words that are associated with SEO attached to the page, or is web design in the page? If you're a tax person, I'm going to put a tax site up here because this one is evident. I want to use this one for a second. All right, so this one here, if I'm saying what I have, I've got multiple layers. I've got tax preparation, tax planning, tax compliance, taxes, and bankruptcy. So I have an entire tax service tree over here that breaks out all the types of taxes that I have going on here, because Google's looking for these signals. All right, so I want everybody, when you go home, to sit down with this tool and make you a list of important keywords. If you're unsure, you're welcome to email me the list. I'll run through it and I'll redline it for you and give it back. If I was in person with you, I'd take 10 minutes, have you all write it on a piece of paper and then run through your papers. But I don't know that I can truly do that in this kind of a setting. Let's kind of just do it that way. The question says, are we supposed to do this looking on volume or cost per click? I do it on volume first and foremost. The cost per click helps me identify how hard the word is to rank on. The higher the cost per click, the harder the word is to rank on. So the high cost per click is an indicator that that's a really good word because it has a value to it. The volume is also an indicator that people are looking for it. But here's the thing. If here, I think it was salsa. It was one of them. Let's just kind of stick the salsa back in there.
What email address you want them to email you at?
Beth at Vertical Web.
Okay.
All right. So salsa has 673,000 searches a month, but it only has a cost per click of 14 cents. Okay. So what that tells me is that that is not a good keyword because there's so many searches for it and there's no direction or understanding of what the user intent is. Yes, I want to use the word salsa, but I wouldn't fixate too hard on it because the word by itself doesn't have a lot of value, even though it has a lot of searches. Okay. So I hope everybody understands what I just said, that these two things kind of walk hand in hand. Something that has a low cost per click, but high volume may need more to it. So I'm going to say salsa for sale, because she told me she makes salsa. So she's selling salsa. And the second I do that, it changes, and there's only and it should be salsa, not salsas. Let's see. Nope. All right. So that's still somewhat of a weak keyword, in the sense that there's only 210 searches a month for that. Now, let's come on down and let's look. Fresh salsa for sale is got 20 on a volume. Salsa bikes for sale, no. Salsa Fargos for sale, no. See, these are like all strange. What else do you sell besides salsa? And it says, in this case, is this the word alone? Yeah, that when I'm using just salsa, it's the word alone. And then when, homemade salsa for sale, I mean, some of these are the more salsa person. Can you tell me more about what you're doing? Because this is a confusing term for Google, which means it's going to be a confusing term for you. Let's see, homemade salsa. Let me see if I do that. Let's see if we do it that way. GOURMETSALSA. All right, so that one went up a little bit. All right, so you see, by changing it to gourmet salsa, it kind of dialed it in a little bit more. So this one is kind of this one's a little bit hard to get hands around. So, and I'm sure some of you else have this problem too. So that's why I'm saying, if you want to go make your list and then email me the list. And when you email me the list, send me a list of your competitors, because I'm going to tell you that's another way to back into what you should be doing. I love when I ask customers who their competitor is, and they give me some guy that's got like three keywords. So they're not really a big person. All right, so this is your Angolan food, but what does that have to do with salsa? What am I missing? I'm missing something here, unless these are not the same person. Maybe this is two different people. All right, this is something different, not the same person. Okay. All right. But I don't want to, well, where are we on time? Okay. I don't want to get too hung up on this. I don't want to walk through. I want you guys to go home and make your own lists. And I'm offering to look down those lists for you. So I need you to go home and make your own lists and see what you come up with. I'll end up having to double check them, but I want your list. I want your website. And then I also want who you perceive your competitors to be. And if you can send that to me, I will take a look. But you guys need to take a crack at making this list, because this is an important part of the exercise. Because if you cannot identify the keywords, this is where this is going to start to go a little bit off the rails.
So the three things you want is their list of keywords, their website, and what else?
Competitors, if they think they have any.
Okay.
And preferably, if you compete, let's say you sell salsa and you're competing with Tejano salsa, tell me your what's his name? Is that what I mean? Tejano salsa? I think that's what it is. Then that's what I need you to put in there. And then let's see what we can actually come up with, okay? Because I mean, I don't want to turn this solely into a keywords class, because we need to kind of go to the next concept of all of this. So once I have my list of keywords, and I am going to use my own website, because my own website, I can tell you my keywords off the top of my head in seconds. And every one of you from here on out should be able to answer the question of, what are the keywords that apply for my website? And there will be a pop quiz later on down the road on this. We may just do a whole night on keywords. I want anyone that's in this class to come back and actually know how to answer that question. Okay. There is no acceptable range for cost per click and competitive criteria, because everybody's different. So I have somebody that does resin manufacturing, and because it's such a niche, those numbers would never equate out properly to do it. But the searches that are made, the conversion rate on them are extremely high. So I think what I want to say is I'm not really worried about what the acceptable range is. I just need you guys to come up with what you think is the right keywords. Okay. So I'm going to
Wait,
tell you.
wait, sorry, please.
Go ahead.
The list of keywords for your website, your competitors' names, and what's the third one?
Your website.
Oh, right, your website. I'm sorry. Okay.
No,
All
no,
right,
no, that's
thanks.
okay. You took them out of order, so then I had to think about what the heck I actually said.
Well,
So
thank you.
that's
I appreciate that.
no,
I
that's
mean,
no problem.
but
You're stumping the fan.
yeah, I put in for your website and then used up the website that I had put in my notes. So we'll get it out
Okay.
there for them. So I'm telling them to do these 3 things and email it to you at your email address, and then you'll get back with them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So this becomes a signals game. Okay. So now that we understand what our keywords are, what I'm going to tell you is the keywords for my website are SEO, internet marketing, web design, and web hosting. Okay. And I understand when you look at the top of my website, there's a little bit of a offness. We're going to do a local class again sometime probably. Sandra, we're up to May. Go ahead and put local SEO down for June.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
That's 100%. Let's do a local SEO for June.
Okay.
All
Got it.
right. So, all right. So the first thing that you will notice when you come here is I have this tiny menu up here that doesn't say much of anything. These are very generic terms, and there's a really specific reason for it because I wanted Google to discard that entire menu. So when I say class, about us, support, and anything up in this menu, it's all stuff that are not important, and there's no quantifier on them. So I sent a signal to Google that I wanted them to throw out that menu. So the next thing I'm going to do is I came down and I said, okay, I have 3 arms of my business. I have the SEO arm, I have the web design arm, and I have the web hosting arm. Now, initially I had them web hosting, web design, SEO, because that is the actual order that the world that you would need them. You need a web host, you need to build your website, then you do SEO. Okay. But I ended up changing it because remember, this is a signals class. Okay. So the first and foremost biggest thing we do as a company is SEO services and internet marketing. So what I had to do is I had to change the order around, even though it's not the right chronological order that the products are needed. I had to change them to send the right signals to Google. Because when I said we did web hosting, web design, and SEO, Google classified us as a web host first. And we are not a web host first, we are web host second. Okay. Our main products are SEO and web design. So, with that said, I went ahead and I set my menus up and I listed my keywords on them. And if you look at any of the sites that we manage, the keywords are always the navigational words. You'll notice that we don't do home, services, about us, evident pros. It's tax services, forensic accounting, litigation support. Okay. Because what I'm doing is that Google reads your page from the top down, from left to right. So the very first thing I have them come to is the navigation that tells them what my website is about. So if you open your website and your website says home, about us, services, and blog, you already know that Google has no idea what you're doing, and you're already going and sitting on the bench. So the very next thing you're going to do is you're going to look at what these are, and you're going to work on building these menus out using the right keywords, okay, that we just pulled off the ladder. Now, when we do this internally, we actually make a map And I don't know if I can just bring this up or not. But we actually map out and do it in a mind map, and make a chart of what everything should look like. So we take the 3 tiers of the website. On my site, I have the 3 tiers. I know everything that I want to put underneath it, and I make it like an outline of like you would do, when you were in high school. So like, and I use this example often. Like if I had a website that was like on the wars of the 20th century, I would have World War One, World War Two, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm. And that would be my navigation menu from left to right, because my whole website was based on the wars of the 20th century. Okay. If I was going to do wars in general, I might go back to the Crusades. I may put Middle Ages. I may put, wars of the 1800s. So War of 1812. If 1700s, the American Revolution. So I may put other things in there, based on, what I am. But if I'm focusing on just the wars of the 20th century, my headers would be World War One, World War Two, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm. Okay. So everybody understand what I just said, because this is really very important. Yes,
What,
if I can just kind of get a thumbs up and hope that everybody's kind of understanding here, or a smiley face or something that says, yes, I'm alive, breathing, and I get what you're saying. All right. Okay. So I've got a yes so far. Yay.
and
Can I
you please
please?
repeat it. Repeat it in
Yeah,
simple
see, that's
terms.
why I asked the
Well, I
question,
think that's a good idea because I was typing. So I'd like
right?
to hear it again too.
All right. So what I'm saying is you need to come up for the structure for your website that basically envelops and has your keywords in it. You do not use home, about us, services, blog content. You're going to use real words, for the person that's the esthetician, and then the glow person, they may have one that talks about esthetician services, and then they may have one that talks about facials. Okay, because those are two different trees. An esthetician pulls hair off your face, the facial person makes your skin glow. All right, so she may have two sets of services broke out at the top. I'm saying you notice I have it up here on Evident Pros. You notice it's over here on the end. Okay, the About Us, I've got that, the contact stuffed here over on the side. Okay. So it can still be there last, but the things you want to feed it are your services. So, and I try to say 3 services. I mean, if you've got 2 services, great. You have 1 service, great. If you've got 52 services, come up with how to prioritize them. Okay. So I always try to have maybe 3. I don't really try to go over 3, to be honest with you. All right. Now this rule is for all business types. So if I'm an apartment complex, I may put floor plans and amenities, because that's what people are looking for. Okay. So, you have to kind of take some sense from what I'm saying. But yes, I want you to come up with it. It's a good way to say it. Come up for a structure for your website. Okay. And that's what we need to make sure that we do, because without that structure, everything falls apart. Just like if I built a house and I didn't put framing in the wall, the whole house would fall apart. These are the things that Google looks at, and what it is almost like a checklist. So they take certain parts of the page, which that's kind of what I'm talking through with you here. Okay, and they take those parts of the page and they say, if this matches, this matches, this matches, and this matches, this page must be about this. So I'm giving you all those thises that you should have, so that if you can do this part okay, even if you don't know anything else, you're going to be way ahead of the game, because these are the things that are most important. So the first thing we did was find the keywords. The next thing we do is say, come up with a structure. If we have 3 services, great. If we have 5 services, we better find a way to consolidate those services and try to get them down to 3. I really don't
Well,
want
like to categorize them, right? Because then it
Yeah,
would be, right?
yeah,
So that's what I
yeah.
put, come up with a structure for your website. Tab names should not be, you know, home, about us, etc. They should be about 3 products or 3 services or categories for products and services, right?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up on products a second. So I have some websites that have, 5,000 products on it. All right. Those are handled a little bit differently, and I'll kind of tell you how to do e-commerce here in just a second. All right. But for you service-based people, okay, you need to come up with if you're a personal injury attorney, you'll have your legal services. You need to come up with, well, if you sell one product, that's a whole different, that's a much different problem. Okay. And that is a problem, having only one product. So we'll talk about that too. Remind me. Okay. So we're going to try to come up with at least 3 top level services that we offer. Okay. 2 is fine as well. If you're a localized business, we're going to talk about at some point, we will talk about local SEO, which is, I just asked Sandra to put on the schedule, and how to do this, which will be a little bit different than what I'm telling you here. Okay. So I have 2 people now that have one product. You guys, we're gonna have to talk about you guys separately, okay? Because that's a whole different problem. That actually is a problem. So we're gonna have to talk about that. Okay. So we now know that we have to make our navigation bar with our top 3 search keywords. Remember, I told you go by volume, go by cost per click. The cost per click volume words that are the biggest ones should be what you're here. Tax services, very broad. Forensic accounting, very broad. Litigation services, very broad. Okay. Again, over here, SEO, web design, web hosting. And I'm going to throw anybody that's a little bit ahead of this. The reason this says internet marketing services and web designer is because it matches the local search categories that Google has. So when we talk about local and we come back and talk about localizing the site, and we do that in June, I'll explain that a little bit more, but these are actually categories that Google has preordained. That's what they should be. Okay. So that's why, as I'm saying, SEO, web design, web hosting, I actually used SEO and internet marketing services because Google says the category is internet marketing services. But I couldn't separate the word out SEO, because if I don't put the word SEO there, I don't rank on the big word. The big word on this is SEO Houston and Houston SEO. So I had to send 2 sets of signals with 1 tab, which is why there's 2 keywords rolled up in this one. Okay. Web design to them is a web designer, and web hosting is web hosting. The other thing is, remember I told you find categories underneath it. You'll see that what I did is again, using the keyword methodology that we already have built our list of keywords. Okay. I now have SEO services, local SEO, social media, and content marketing. There's multiple others. It's just I haven't gotten to build the rest of those pages out yet. When I do, I will, and then we'll go with that. Okay, so you notice I took the subsections and I ran it underneath. If you look at Evident Pros, the subsections are run underneath. Okay, and the reason we're doing that is because we're sending Google a signal. We think the most important thing we have is tax services. It's in the #1 position. And then the other tax pieces are underneath that. We picked tax services because that was the biggest, most competitive term, and put that on the top level. Okay. We utilized our keyword everywhere program. We took it over here, we put it there, and we built the tree out just like that. So now if you go back to my World War I, World War II, I kind of get stuck sometimes on World War II because I come back and forth between whether you should do German theater, Japanese theater, whether we should do just battles, Pearl Harbor, Midway. I struggle with if I was actually going to build that site, what I would do as the subtopics underneath it. I probably would do German theater, Japanese theater, and then break the battles down after that is what I probably would do if I was running that site. But I've also, I've had in my head from time to time that I might just do battles on the next level and then break them out from there. The other thing that you could do is the Axis and the Allies, and then break it out under that in that direction. So I always talk about the wars mostly because there's 3 different ways to approach it. And then you kind of have to make the best decision for what's best for your business. All right. So depends on where you're going. That would be how you would decide how to cut that out. All right. So those are some of the decision processes that you have to make. But again, that blind squirrel moment is if you can get this area of the website correct, you're very much over, you're much heading in the best direction. Okay. Everybody that has one product, you all are going to have to sit down and wait a second, okay? Because that's a whole different conversation. I need to make sure everybody understands this piece of it from a service standpoint, because I probably have way more services in here than single product people. Okay, so the service people, the people with services and brick and mortars and those type things, they need to make sure that they get these right, and they should be the biggest item to the smallest item. So if I come back over here, I show the internet marketing side of it. You see SEO and internet marketing, that's the biggest and most competitive. It's in the #1 slot. It's also what I told Google is my #1 job. So therefore I put it in the first slot. Web design is always in the middle, and web hosting was on the end. So, and if you notice, I took out all the other noise. I actually put my noise up at the top where Google would throw it away. And that was intentional on my part. Okay. All right. So now that I have my navigation and I understand how I'm going to start my navigation, I need to build my homepage. Okay. And what's interesting about building a homepage, and this goes for everybody, and I guarantee you, if I told you, show me your homepage, yes, it's WordPress. We can get in the whole discussion as to why Wix, Weebly, and Squarespace are not the road to go down. Everybody really, if you're serious about this, you should be on a WordPress platform. If you're just trying to get a little bit ahead, you can stay in those other platforms, but just know that Google's very, very persnickety with them, and they're very difficult to get that website ranking. WordPress really is the only true solution to this. All right. So as I come down now, I know my framework. I know what my pages are going to say. I know what my categories are. And therefore, I need to then start to build my page. If you notice, the very next line of the website is a H1, and I want you to write this down because this is extremely important. Okay. It is an H1 that reinforces my main navigation. SEO and digital, and actually I may change that digital to internet marketing. I may. I'm not, because I still want to get the word digital in there. Do I want to get the word digital, or should I just go with SEO? All right. So I'll explain that in a second. But this needs to be an H1 tag that reinforces what's up here.
Can
So
you
the
re-explain what you said about H1? What is H1 they're asking?
I saw her question. I'll get to that. I need everybody to understand that. Type
Okay.
it first, and then we'll worry about how to quote it. Okay. All right. So these have to match, and if you notice, they're in the exact order of what these 3 are. And I think Evident Pros. See, now this one I could flip around because these guys keep making their changes. This one here this one should say tax services, forensic accounting. And in fact, I need to send him an email and ask him if I can change that, because when we wrote this, the forensic accounting was more of the focus, and now they're wanting to walk more towards tax services. So this is wrong because it should, like I just told you, it should match this. So it should say expert tax services, forensic accounting, litigation support for Houston. The reason the for Houston is important is because the word Houston is important to this entire equation because that's the only place he does it. I, on the other hand, am all over the country. So you notice in my H1, I do not have the word Houston. In his, I have it. So now let's talk about what an H1 is. In the old days of the internet, if you went and used Front Page or just any type of text editor, they gave you 6 options for headlines. All right. Now, I don't know the age of the people in this room. Okay. But anybody that remembers a newspaper, okay, they were these pieces of paper that had print on them and they made your house stink. And on Sunday, you got comics. Okay. They would use a headlining system that the largest thing would be on top. And because tomorrow is start of baseball season, I'm going to be a prognosticator and say in October or November, we are going to have a headline in an H1 that's going to say Astros win World Series. Okay. When you see that and it's like the whole, front page, that's an H1. You're basically screaming it as loud as you can. Okay. For those of you that are old, we have people that are owning up to being old. You'll remember the old headline that says Dewey beats Truman. That was an H1. This is the internet's version of that. Every page you have should only have one H1 on it. And what it needs to do is encapsulate what that page is about. So this is the cover of the book. The cover of the book should be tax services, a forensic accountant, litigation support for Houston. Okay. Mine says SEO and digital marketing, web design, web hosting. Okay. So I am trumpeting that out to Google in very loud terms, and I am telling them this is the focal point of because it's my homepage, this is the focal point of my business. All right. You are only to have one of them per page. So what I often see as a mistake is people come in and they say, oh, H1, and then they go a little bit down the page and they say, well, I want it really big again. So let me go back to the H1 and make it really big again. When you put multiple H1s, what it is you have 2 screaming people, and anybody that's been in a room with screaming people, you will know that they talk over each other. John, that's a coefficient of Google local. And what I'm going to say to you is hold on to June to where you can read them. Okay. Because at the end of the day, I'll show you how to pull them out, but I don't want to conflate anything this evening with how to find them. If they can just put a keyword, we're in good shape. All right. So the H1 yelling at the top of your lungs, one time, first line of a website. Now, I want everybody to go look at their website and see what your website is yelling. Is it yelling a keyword, or is it saying coolest person in town? And you have to use the keywords. You cannot use pithy little, I have the slogan, we make the web work. And we use that, but you notice I don't have that running here because we make the web work and yelling that at this spot at Google's going to say, okay, I have no idea what you're saying. Okay. So again, this is about feeding Google what you need. So we may want to say hippest esthetician in town. Okay. So we have the word esthetician there, but we don't have what you do and we don't have what town you're in. So rather than saying hippest esthetician in town, we may want to say expert esthetician for African American skin in Houston. We may want to change it to something like that. And I mean, if you have multiple services, it can be piped out like I did here, which is category 1, category 2, category 3. If I wanted to say for Houston, I would have really no compunction or problem with putting the word for Houston at the end of this line. So I hope everybody kind of is understanding, but this is the most important thing that you're yelling at Google. So from a design standpoint, when you're writing your page, you're writing in keywords, the most important thing you do. All right. And again, if you put the right thing here, what you'll end up doing is sending Google a signal. So far we have matched the navigation and we've matched the H1 tag. Super, super important. The other thing I want you to notice is that Sandra put in writing that the Astros are going to win the World Series. Okay, so we are now have that in writing. So if it happens, we know on March the 22nd, 27th, we said that's what was going to happen. One day before opening baseball season opened. So I'm kind of excited. You know, football's over. Yeah, anybody that knows me knows I live in Astros and football, or Astros and Texans, and you know, so it's been a weird 6 weeks from the Super Bowl to now. We've kind of been just kind of counting the days down and kind of going through spring training. So we're all excited over here that baseball starts tomorrow. Anyway, it's been suggested to me that the homepage loudly say what we do so the user will know right away what we do. All right. I could make the argument that what I'm saying for Google, so Google loudly knows, also helps the end user. And what I say, somebody give me a website, one of your websites, just give me one. In fact, frankly, if you know it's wrong, that would even make me happier.
So what,
Somebody,
if
I
you've
just
been
put a
not in
website.
there
All right,
for,
hold on, I got one.
don't be sensitive. If you're putting your
Yeah,
website
if you're
up there,
sensitive, if you're sensitive, this is not the exercise for you. All right, so hold on a
but
minute.
this will help you though, if you want to do, learn these things and make some changes to your website, or it
All right.
might be that it's
Wait,
a
hold it,
perfect
hold it, hold it,
example.
hold it, hold it,
All
hold
right,
it.
here we go.
Excellence. Okay, I'm shutting it off. What was that website about? And that's the problem. Right there. Kids playing. Yeah, okay. Probably not. It was probably about some kind of robotics thing, but I don't even know. And the reason I did it that way, we can do it again. Watch. Let's do it. Let's do the next one. All right, this one's not bad.
Well, now we got heads up that you're not going to let us see it very long.
Well, I know, right now they're going to be, but I did that on purpose because that you have 8 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're out. All right. The reason I'm doing it that way is because your brain has 8 seconds to bring that up and for somebody to decide. You know exactly it's a printing service. That person did a reasonable job of it. Okay. But you know right then and there. So John, I can make the argument back that by putting something there for the end user that says, now let's go, let me find this robotics guy again because he was interesting. Hold on. All right, so his web address doesn't say anything to me. And again, if you're sensitive, please, you just take it with a grain of salt and we'll go with that. Okay. All right, so we were all wrong what this person does. So
Wait, we're
first of
not seeing, we're seeing evident pros. Are you
oh,
showing
I'm
us?
on the wrong one. Hold it. Wait. Okay, I'm going to tell you, you were all wrong about what this website was about. So first of all, we see educating dreams into reality, committing to excellence. And then we have graduation photography. Don't really understand how those two things are related. All right. Then we have curriculum mixed, and then we have drone services. And then it says we set the gold standard. And I dare anybody to understand what the heck this website is even about yet, because there's nothing there that says it. Now, this movie is great. Depending on how this is coded, it doesn't really tell you what this is. You're educating dreams. Okay. So on Google, I see that you are educating dreams. So what does that mean? Because the first thing I think is you're a person that says what dreams are made of. I understand what you're going for as a thinking person because I can see the kid in the background and you're trying to make them happy and robotics and whatever. But at the end of the day, there is nothing for Google to get its hooks into to understand what this word is about. But what they do know is that you are committed to excellence. Excellence in what? They have no idea, but you are committed to it. And that's the problem. This is typically what I see when I go look at a website. Okay, so I don't really actually know what you do still, to be honest with you, because I got these kids playing with drones. I got something that says you do photography. And I have something else that maybe says your curriculum makes digital learning fun. So now we have holograms of dinosaurs. Uh, huh. Okay. Anybody want to tell me what we're doing? Would you like to type out what you're doing? Because I genuinely have no idea what this is. Drone services, vendor services, graphic design, and visuals. Is it looks like what you're saying? No, I want Carl Miller to tell me what his website about, not you guys guessing. All right. So the problem is Google has no idea what this website is about. And I'm going to do this.
So there's a way to make the most of what he offers, but to just use better
Still
keywords.
don't know what he does. Yeah, I still don't even know what he does yet.
Well, and another thing is whatever wants to be
Well, here, I want to show you something else. Okay. And I'm not, again, I'm not picking. Google literally has no, everybody see what this is? That literally has no idea what it's using. None. See, this is 0 because they have no idea what this website's about. And they really have no idea what this is over here either. These blips of organic keywords, there was two keywords. So the problem is that although we're all guessing, we have no idea what you do. Okay. So we provide media services for schools, universities, government, photography, videography, graphic design, and drone services. Okay. You just now know what to put all over your homepage, don't you? Which is media services for schools, university, and government, including photography, videography, graphic design, and drone services. And if you only do Houston, put in Houston. You just actually rewrote your homepage right there. All right. That should be the very first thing that your website says. And other than the we provide, everything else should be an H1 tag. All right. So see, you can do it. See, you too can do this right.
Well,
All
he's
right.
got the right attitude. Did you see what he wrote in the chat?
No, what did he say? Glad I attended the class. Tear it up so I can fix it. All right. Well, we're having a good time here with this. And what I would do is, and I have a question for you, is the schools, university, and government, are they 3 different types? Because I would, you remember I told you your services, I might have photography, videography, and graphic design go under be my 3 categories unless the services provided for schools, university, and governments are the delimiter. You have to decide that. I don't know because I can't really talk to you about that. Okay. So this is where I want you to, so you're gonna have to decide what those buckets are, but you got 3 buckets that are either schools, university, and government, or photography, videography, and graphic design. The reason I'm not saying drone services because drone services actually can go under videography and get away with that because it's related enough that I'm not worried about breaking it out. Okay, but does everybody understand the difference of what he said versus what he is actually doing? You guys, we're all thinking we have no idea what the heck he's even doing. We see you guys thought he was like Santa's helpers and Buddy the Elf was going to show up, and he ain't doing that at all. All he's doing is videos, and that's why now the graduation photography kind of sticks out sideways because you don't even know what that is. Okay. He needs to change his navigation, of course, and he needs to decide what he wants to do with this top thing here. But all right. The other thing I'm going to tell you is depending on how this movie's put in, these need to be the H1 tag. You need one H1 tag on the very first one. If you want to put something on the other 2, that's fine with me. I personally would carry that H1 tag through the entire video and let it stay over the top of everything and not change it. because it's pretty self-explanatory. So is that everybody's with me so far, right? So got it. 1H tag sitting on the page. We're using keywords and we're not doing stuff that doesn't tell people what we're doing, because it's the not telling people what we're doing is the biggest problem here. Okay. And oh, by the way, although I love that you're committed to excellence, I don't really care, because that doesn't tell me anything about what you're doing. I would take this out. And again, now here's another thing. I'm going to kind of use this because this one is wrong. So at the end of the day, it's better to use something that's wrong than right. I'll flip back to right in a second. All right. I just decide I'm going to make an executive decision, and if I'm wrong, feel free to change this. But my executive decision says that you do photography, videography, and graphic design. Okay. And I would put photography here, and I might put here, Houston deserves the best graphic services. If there's a really big top level we can put here, I might take this space and put something like Houston's best alternative for what do I want to say? What's a good visual services or multimedia production or something like that? I might come up with something along those lines. But these three boxes should not say summer programs as a camp. Okay. So summer programs is not anything to do with graphic design. It has nothing to do with photography. And it has nothing to do with photography. So what I did is I haven't told Google anything in my navigation. I haven't told Google anything in my slider. I came down here and then I told them we have summer programs, visual services, and drone obstacle courses. And Google's now going, okay, I'm out, tapping out. I don't even know what this guy's doing. Okay. Now, if I look down here in the bottom left, still don't have the right set of stuff, but at least I got visuals, which I have no idea what that is. He might be an eyeglass maker. I have graphic design. I have drone services, and I have vendor services. So we've now put on another set of words that have nothing to do with anything. I don't know what vendor services are. That could be anything from a cafeteria situation to the procurement office at HCC. Okay, so again, it's another superfluous word that we just threw on the website. The reason I'm kind of being funny like this is because I need you guys to walk away and understand, say what you do and stay focused on what you do. What I'm looking at right now is a cover of a book, and the cover of the book might be The Hunt for Red October, and I open the book and I get Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, because that's what's going on here. I've got somebody that wrote me a perfect description of what his business and services does, but I have a homepage that doesn't say that at all. And this is where you all need to go home and you need to assess your homepage and decide whether it actually says what you do or not. If it doesn't say it, you need to get your keyboards out and start making it say it, because Google does not understand it. Okay. Now, I don't think he's going to go rank and be the #1 photographer in Houston just because I told him to move his words around. But I do know that at some point by doing this, what's going to end up happening is we're going to have something more than that shows a 0. Okay. And that's where I need to get. You got, by not having a blip on this at all, it tells me that Google truly has no understanding of what this is. None whatsoever. And what's interesting is usually when I see something like this website goes all the way back to 2002. So let's do this. This website came online at almost the same amount of time. I have to actually look into what this is. But you see how from the minute it came online, it's been building on its keywords and it's going up and it's moving up. Okay. This is where you need to be. You kind of should always be going up. This website was put up the same time as that other website. That other website is blank. This website has rankings on it. Okay. So I want you to understand. I mean, it's link poor. It's very isolated in a certain part of town. But what I'm saying to you is that if you put the right signals in, you too can look like something's actually happening on your website. Okay. You don't have to be like a specialist in this to at least rank on a few keywords, but by not saying them, Google has no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so let's see what I missed while I was babbling over here. Beth is good with lots of priceless information. Feel free to tail up some other tabs, writing all this down. Okay, you mentioned that the continuous scroll has changed the game. Not really. If you're not in the first 5, it doesn't matter. I always just say page 1 and page 2. There's just no more changing the pages. So it doesn't really, anything past 5, nobody's going there anyway. All right, let's see. How do I get to this data? I don't understand what you're asking me. You mean my SEM rush tool? That's a whole nother thing. Let's see. And where are you seeing the page with the organic keywords? Where are you seeing? Oh, this page, I have a tool that pulled it up. I just was validating that Google has no idea what the heck's going on. All right. I because that website, I wanted to see if it had only been on for a week. Well, no big deal. This thing's been on since 2022 from the best I can see. That website from 2022 should have a much better curve than that, like this, rather than just completely flatlined. Okay. So that's what I'm saying to
What
you.
is SEMrush? The tool you're
Yeah,
using?
it's expensive, Sandra. It's $600 a month. So I'm
Oh,
just using this to validate it. I mean, they're able to go get an account, but I mean, it's a very pricey tool. Don't worry about what I'm looking at here more than this gives you a trend line. If your website, I guarantee you 99% of the websites, except for the person with the color print, person with the printing, the 2-day printing, put your URL here again for me, please. I think if you looked at that one probably was well done enough that one probably has something. But I can just tell by looking at this visuals website that Google has no clue what this website is, which is why I bought up. Because before I tell somebody it doesn't have any clue, I wanted to make sure it really had no clue. It is completely clueless. All right, this one is ePrint 2. Let's see what this one looks like. Let's see. This one at least has some promise that there's something about it. Oh, nope, you fell off the side of the earth too. You actually had some reasonableness going on, and now you're oblivious. So, nope, you don't have anything going on either over there. And you have a website that's been on for a while that did have some rankings that don't have any anymore at all. So now we got to go look and see what happened there. Because that's a whole nother problem, because at least you had some murmurs and now you're not murmuring anything. You went to flatline in November. Looks to me like you got caught in the helpful content update that went out in September, and you fell off the side of the cliff. Anybody with a straight down line like that, it's yeah, you got troubles on that. I'll show you another one. This is not my website anymore, and we don't maintain it anymore, but they took this one, and I'll show you what's wrong with it, because it's interesting. He went and got somebody to do SEO on it, and they didn't do a very good job. And he literally took his website that was getting 13,000, and it's now down to 3,000 because it doesn't do any of these signals that I'm talking about. So if you had something that it was working and then you flipped it and you didn't flip it right, then you're going to end up with I'm off the side of the cliff. And that's what happens. Well, put it up there and I'll check it. I mean, that's yeah, we can do that. But and I usually, when people call me, is when that happens. That's always the better client for me, is the person that had one and all of a sudden the website fell off the side of the earth. And that's always usually something's happened to it. So no, yours is going to have nothing. I can tell you right now, yours is going to have nothing. All right, so here's the rule. Okay, if you're not meeting the criteria that I already gave you and you're not doing it, don't worry about it. You're not going to have any ranking. So I can check it, but I can tell you right now, this one the lady just gave me, it literally is going to be a big fat zero because there's not one keyword anywhere on it. All right, so I don't want to get involved with recreating, because I guarantee you everybody's going to have the same problem. I mean, unless you have actually done these things, it's not it's not even gonna show up. I mean, I don't want to waste time because I've got other things that I've got to hit for you guys to walk out and go fix your websites to tell you what I already know. It's broken. There's not a keyword on this builder site. All right, so if you have a website with no keywords on it and nothing on it, I guarantee you it's going to be just like that website I just pulled up that has got nothing on it. Okay. So is everybody tracking? No keywords, no nothing. What would a Wix site look like in this? It would be in nothing. It would be a big zero. All right. So a lot of them they're not done right, John. So I mean, I think, some people in the SEO community kind of say, um, something. Okay, Rhonda, if your website has no keywords on it, it's not going to show up. That's the problem. You have a one product person now. So I just want to, oh no, you're the other person. Oh, you have them. Okay, hold it. Wait. I got you confused with the lady with the salsa. Hold on. Let's see if you actually have them. Wait. All right. Nope. No, you don't have them. Nope. No. You don't have them.
What is this,
No.
triptoitaly.com? Are we looking at
No,
something?
I'm looking at this glowing bar site thing.
We're not seeing it.
I
Are we?
know. I was pre-looking at it before I put it up and started.
Oh,
I'm pre-doing it. No, there's no keywords on this website. This website's a big nothing too.
just in the term of keywords, there might be a lot of good information on there. You just have to
No, there's no
reorganize it.
information on it either. I didn't even get to that. That's why I don't want to spend the whole night critiquing everybody's website. I'm trying to go forward, but yeah, no, there's nothing on this website. It's got cookies and accepting things. It doesn't tell me what it's about. There's nothing here. It's committed to excellence again, and nothing. There's one keyword. It says skincare treatments, except that's not what you do. See, you can't, this is all in the movie, so there's nothing there. So this is where, yeah, no, if there is no keywords, and look, you have 16 keywords because it's yeah, but you don't have it in a way that it's written there in any way, shape, or form that it's glowing skin. That's it. That's the only place we have it. I didn't even get to how many times you have to say it yet. Yeah, no, that's yeah. It's there one time. And most of this is pictures, so they can't even tell it. All right. So yeah, this one's kind of a mess too. No offense. Yeah, and see, that's an image. Geez, whoever did this really kind of screwed the pooch. All right, yeah, I don't want to, because I mean, I could do this all night. All right, so let's kind of get back. So we understand H1 tag. The next thing we come down and we need to do is the next set of things. And our friend at the videography thing, I started to go down the road to do that. No, photos and videos don't have keywords. Okay, so when I come here, you'll notice again, I repeated SEO, web design, web hosting. Same order is up here, same order is here, and then I broke it out. Now, this time what I did is I took and made it in H2 the next time down the page, okay? And I stripped away the next set of level of words. So the digital marketing is gone, the internet marketing is gone. It just says just old plain old SEO, okay? The other things these are then hyperlinked to the part of the website that is about the SEO services. So that was the next thing you're going to do. So I now have an H2 that's a hyperlink somewhere. So when I do that, I'm using my keyword, I'm using an H tag, I'm linking it to a page. So what I have told Google is, most important thing is SEO. I reinforced it with an H1 tag. I reinforced it with an H2 tag that's literally typed in directly, and I linked it to an SEO page. They are starting to buy a clue that this page is about SEO. So does everybody understand what I did is how I'm doing this is it's the same thing as an H1. It's just the next one under. It's like a bar. This is H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So it's all the same. It's all the same thing. All right. So again, this is all about structure, guys. How we put these together, how we are gelling them, and what signals are we sending? So I'm sending an SEO signal, I'm sending an SEO signal, I'm sending an SEO signal. I now have this signal sent 3 times in 3 different ways. Okay. If we come down, now I'm saying, what's the next keyword I want to work with? The next keyword I want to work with is Houston SEO and SEO Houston. And if you start to look in these H2 tags, you'll see Houston SEO, and then you see SEO Agency Houston. So I've hit those from 2 different ways, and I'm doing them again in the H2 tags. But if you notice, I also have SEO Agency, Web Design, Web Hosting, yet again, re-emphasizing it this time in an again in an H2 tag. All right. You notice I'm not talking about this. I'm only talking about these headlines because remember, I told you these are hacks. Okay. So I am giving you, I actually someday, if I have free time, I'm going to build a website that has Lord Ibsen in all of these spaces. And the only thing I'm going to optimize is the header text. Okay. And the reason I'm going to do that is because sometimes I don't really know how much this all matters. That I think they've really gotten to the, with the AI and how they read things. I think we've really kind of gotten to a point that these subheads have become way more important than anything else I type on a page. Now, what you don't want to do is type your whole page in a headline tag, okay? So don't anybody think they're going to be smarter and now go home and make everything an H2 tag and that they're going to rule the world, because that's not going to happen, because then you become a spammer. So, all right, so I continue to work my way down this list, coming all the way down. The other thing that I'm doing is I am using keywords to link pages. Notice I never say learn more. I say our SEO services. Okay. I could have put learn more there, but if I walked in a room and I said to you, learn more, what you're going to find out is you have no idea what I'm talking about. But if I say our SEO services, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is where I want to make sure that we're doing, text, and we're linking the text as well. All right. Everybody understand that I am utilizing the keywords that we started this class with, which is why that keyword list is your best friend forever and ever. Amen. Okay. Now, I did a lot of talking about SEO. So the next thing I did is I put a little line here, and now I'm talking about web design and web hosting. Okay. And the reason why I did that is because, yet again, it supports my navigation, it supports the top of the page, and it's coming down. The page itself is coming down in the same order that I put up in that navigation. Okay. And I understand this phraseology a little bit different, but this is more of a paragraph on web designers and web hosting, not necessarily in that order. Okay. The other thing I'm going to give you a little hack is on the pictures. Everybody has a cell phone, so there's no excuse for this not to happen. But I ride around all day and I take the pictures out of the sunroof of my car for my website. So every picture, for the most part, you see is a picture I took somewhere with location services turned on, with it embedded in the photo. So that is the one thing that Google can see, which is the metadata on the photo. Take it with location services on and use your own photos. Don't use stock images or the images somebody gives you. Use your own photos. And it's really not hard to do. If you're an accountant and you're a CPA firm, take a picture of your desk. Take a picture of, somebody walking in your office that you'd blur their face so that they don't sue you for using their images. I said, use your cell phone with location services turned on to take pictures for your website. Every picture on this website is pretty much a picture I've taken. Okay. And the reason why is because I have embedded data says that picture was taken in Houston, Texas. And I did that on purpose. All right. So that's just a little tiny nuancy thing, but I'd rather you use your own pictures from your own cell phone than going and buying something or using something. It's all about the signals, right? Okay. So then we come down a little bit further and I say the industries we serve, and I started to break them out a little bit. And SEO for law firms and SEO for real estate are two key terms. So I went ahead and put them in there as well. What I did is I went down to an H3 on this because as I'm coming down the page, the information is less and less important. Okay, so if you understand like some of the logic of what I'm doing is as I get less important, as I come down the page, I'm telling Google, hey, this is a little less important than the other stuff that I was screaming at you. Now I'm just speaking loudly at you. Okay, and the thing is that technically the SEO for law firms and the SEO for real estate really could use to be up in this section here. And then go into web design, but I have to make a determination how much moving around on this page I want to do. So I just kind of left it down here for the time being, but I think at some point I may move it back up so that these things are not hopping around. Okay. And then I have web design and development that stand out in a crowd. Again, web design and development are keywords. Does everybody get what I'm doing? I'm putting headlines on paragraphs that have keywords in them. And I'm putting them in headline tags, H1, well, not H1, H2, H3, repetitively. Because what I'm telling Google is these are the things I do. I also want everybody to notice how long this page is, because in my industry, the page needs to be almost, I think it's out to 4,000 words now. So my page is still too short, and I've got a page a mile freaking long of everything we do on it. Okay, so you notice the video guy, he had 3 little paragraphs and that was it, and he was done and he was over. I guarantee you that page needs about 1,000 more words added
Why
to
did
it.
you qualify that saying in my industry?
Because every industry is different. So the SEO pages, they usually track, somewhere in the vicinity of 3,000 to 4,000 words. If I do the accounting guy is more like 1,500. So there's this SERPworks bar that I have, it gives me the word count on a page. So this one, the word count on this page, it says it's 546 words. So let's go to tax services Houston. And this is how you get this. Okay, I come down, I'm going to pick the first organic page that is not like this, that's a directory, Thumbtack. Oh, look, Mullen and Associates, my friends. These are friends. I actually gave this guy the framework of his website years ago, and he's done a great job with it. So if you look, this guy's got 1,600 words on his homepage. I just told you that other guy's got 547. I better go add 1,000 words to that homepage. Okay, because these things should be alike. There is no, you have to do exactly what I did, which is go put your competitor in and see how many words are on their page. Because each industry is separate. So the tax people are 1,600, the web hosting people are 4,000. Yes, his homepage has home in his navigation. That's fine. I don't care about that. He's got tax preparation. He's got accounting. You see how long his menus are and what his structure is, and IRS problems, because that's what it needs to be. This is
so
a
how do they,
website.
is there a place they can go and find out how many keywords are per page for their industry?
No, you have to, it literally goes, you have to go pick the number 1 website. In fact, the top 3 websites and average the page counts.
Meaning when you do a Google
Just
search,
copy and paste the page in the Word and see how many words are in the page.
Oh.
You don't have to be fancy. You just can just copy and paste the entire page, stick it in Word, and see how many words are there. And then take the top 3 and average them.
When you say
Now,
top 3, you mean the top 3 when you do a Google
results.
search?
Yes. But if you notice, I passed them by. All right. So let me show you what I passed by because it's not the same thing, right? Let me see if I can't get back. This is a good question, Sandra.
Thanks.
Right. So you notice what I did. I jumped over these 3
Somebody else
here.
asked it, by the way.
All right. Well, I'll give you credit for it. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. H&R Block. I can't compete with them. Throw them out. 20 best tax services from expertise. That's a directory. Throw them out. 10 places, tax preparation services, Thumbtack. That's a directory like Angie's List. Throw them out. Yelp. Throw them out. Next one I'm coming to is Mullen. I'm taking him because he's a real accounting firm in my neighborhood. Okay. Free tax help. That's the IRS. You throw them out. All right. Next person is Catherine Cusera CPA. I'm going to use her because she's a normal CPA in Houston, Texas. And her word count is 670. So Mullen is 1600, number 1. Next guy down is 670. Next one, Paramount Tax and Accounting. Personal tax, personal services, Houston, Texas, 1600. So I have a 1600, a 1600, and a 670. And if I average them out, 16 is 6 and 6 is 12. That's 32. 32 and 6 is 38. I'm just keeping my math simple. Divide by 3. That's 1. 1 goes in 1. And 8, 3 goes into 8 4 times. So 1400. I would have to have a 1400 word page to try to be in this ballpark to compete with these people. All I did was average the 3 totals. That's it. Okay. So that's what that. So for this, I should be writing a 1400 word homepage. And that's how you look at it. Okay. All right. So, and I'm trying to talk fast because I have 7 minutes, and I didn't even get to the most important piece yet. All right. So you see how we came down? We've got keywords baked in. And then you notice I have our blog and podcast. You notice they have no keywords because they're sort of agnostic. Contact us. And then you notice again, I reiterated everything in the footer: digital marketing, web hosting, web design, internet marketing clinic, which is this thing, and the web development. So this actually has its own section on my website. So all past classes are there. There's all kinds of information. There's blogs, there's editorials, there's everything you want to ever know what I think is all there. Okay. So we have all of this. We've done absolutely all of this now. And the most important piece of all, I saved the best for last, is the title tag. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you that these builder softwares that you have often say title tag, meta description, and then keywords. Do not, NOT, no, never, do not fill that box in, period, end of story. Okay. Because I don't want those embedded in your page. But after we have done all of this, you come back and you're going to put a title tag on the website, but it's not going to say CMV video. It's going to say the keywords. You see it again? Houston SEO services, web design agency, and agency. And then I guess I can't even see what it says because it's so long. And then SEO Houston. Okay. It is broken down. I again repeat what I have in the navigation, what I have in my H tags, what I have my H1 tags. That's what goes in the title tag. You do not put home. You do not put coming soon. You do not put the name of your business, because at the end of the day, if I know the name of your business, I'm going to find you. If I'm looking for a CPA, I am not going to find you. All right. So you're not going to put the name of your business at the top of the page as the preeminent thing that you do, because that's one of the worst things that you can do. It needs to have, and I guarantee if we click back up and we pull these, they all got junk title tags on them, because that is the most important thing. I know I went backwards and I told you how to build out the page, but that title tag has to encapsulate the page. All right. So if you walk away with nothing else, that title tag is the most important thing.
Can they go change their title tag at any time?
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I would not do it. Donna said, Donna, I have them on the internet. So you just go to Vertical Web, you can download them anytime you want. All right. So they're there. They're all on YouTube. How you see it is I'm putting my mouse over the top of it. So this one says your new financial life is waiting for you. Okay. Where does that say financial coaching services? Nowhere. It talks about financial fitness. I don't know if that's an arm of physical fitness. If you do that on a treadmill, I have no idea what this is. But what you should be doing is financial coaching services, Houston, Texas, period, end of story, because that's what you do. All right. So this is another website that's just all screwed up in language because it talks about financial literacy, financial this, financial that, but it never says that they do financial coaching, except up here, which is really good because it's a most important part of them. You can adjust them afterwards, but what I'm going to warn is this: if your title tag is working, you don't ever change it. In fact, frankly, when I change a title tag, I actually keep a history of the changes that I've made of it so that I know whether the website went up or it went down. If it goes down, I'm changing back to what it was previously. This is like literally the heart and soul of how you rank a page. Well, I saved it for last simply because you need an amalgamation of everything else on the page. But this one that we're looking at, this financial coaching site, it's amazing to me because the only place that it says the keyword is right there at the very first, which is fantastic, but it's nowhere else. It's talking about financial life, financial this, it's waiting for me. I don't even you don't even know what this is. So at the end of the day, Google has no way to get a hook into what this website's about. And that's time and time again. I randomly can pick a page and I guarantee you it says home, it says the business name, it doesn't say what you do. If you look at mine, even if you look at, well, and you can see them here too sometimes. Where the heck's the all-in-one? All right. His says home, and I wouldn't have the home there, but it says tax and accounting services in Houston, Texas. That's what it says. It says, how do you create your title tag? You take the guy that wrote the thing about the videos, that should be his title tag. Should be photography, videography, graphic design for Houston, Texas. That's what his title tag should be. Short and sweet, what you do. You do, I know you keep putting American in the front of it. You do English, what is it? English, get rid of your accent. English pronunciation training. That's what your title tag should say. English pronunciation training. I would not put the word American English in front of it because I think it starts to dilute that. I think you're making it even further more nichey than what you would, but that's what it needs to say. It needs to say what you do. Just like if you look at mine says what I do. I am an SEO expert in Houston, Texas. It makes no bones about it. Expert SEO services, web design agency, SEO Houston. And the reason I even put that second SEO Houston or SEO Houston in is because Google looks at Houston SEO and SEO Houston as two different sets of words. And if you look, I have web design agency, and then I also have the agency SEO for Houston. I have those. So even the order I put them in works. So thus ends everything I have to say with 30 seconds to spare. Okay. Somebody said, what about my title tag? Oh, guys, I guarantee you none of them are right. I hate to be that way, but no, see, you're asking me to go look at it and it's the name of your company. What do you do? You're a bike shop. in Houston, right? So it should say bike shop in Houston. It shouldn't say active cycling shop. Actually, your bicycle store shop in Houston, it looks like you actually have it. It should be in the first part of it. Now, the whole rest of the website is blank because it's an image. You see that? You guys can't see that. I can see it. Hold on, I'm in the wrong window. Yeah, the whole rest of your website's blank. So it doesn't, in your case, it doesn't matter that it says it right. Look at this. Somebody did an awesome job and made a graphic out of your text. So Google has no idea what you do either. This is the problem, guys. This is why I'm calling it hacks, because if you actually would just do some of these things right, it would work out wonderfully for you, because the other guys are making the same problems. They're doing the same thing you are. So I hope that makes sense to you. So yes, you need to add Houston in the title tag. Everybody should have Houston in their title tag, because I'm assuming all of you work in Houston. We're a little bit over the one page website. People need to broaden their horizons a little bit. The one product people, because at the end of the day, you just have one product, then you better come up with like a lifestyle thing or something to put around that product, because Google's not in business to rank your website, a one product website. So you're going to have to come up with something that's going to be able to package to make some meat and bones out of it, because a one page product website is never going to fly. So I don't mean to end on a negative note, but that's the reality. Okay, Sandra, what else you want to say? Because it's time for them to go home.
Well, you can see in the chat that I put in multiple times the links to our next 2 digital marketing clinics, as well as at the bottom, don't forget down there, there is another link to a lot of upcoming events that are for small business owners around the city by different entrepreneurial departments for HCC. We've got the it's a great e-blast that gives you a lot of information about, so you can pick and choose, and most of these events are absolutely at no cost. So I don't know if any of you are going to be at the Women of Katy symposium tomorrow, but I'll be on a panel there, and it's sold out, so you can't go and do it if you haven't already signed up. But when we see you each month, we'll tell you what we're up to. And so if I don't see you tomorrow, hopefully I'll see you on some of our other events around town. And of course, next month with the digital marketing clinics with Beth, and the month after that. So thanks, Beth.
Thank you, Sandra.
You're very
Thank
welcome,
you, Beth.
everyone.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
All right.
See you at another webinar, you guys. Bye.
We'll see
Bye.
y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
That's a wrap for this week's Internet Marketing Clinic. We'll see you next week. Thank you.